Thanks for joining us. I'm Megan Roberts. We begin tonight in the Northwest Territories. A 35-year-old man is dead after a fatal motorcycle crash on the Ingram Trail just north of Yellowknife. RCMP say officers received a report about the collision on Friday evening. The crash site was near the Prosperous Lake boat launch. When police arrived, they saw bystanders giving first aid to the victim. Paramedics took the man to the Yellowknife Hospital. He died on Saturday. RCMP say the motorcycle was the only vehicle involved in the crash, and an investigation with the coroner's office is ongoing. 700 new housing units are coming to Nunavut. The federal government is partnering with the Nunavut Housing Corporation. It's part of a new agenda set up by a new government agency. Prime Minister Mark Carney announced Build Canada Homes on Sunday. He says the $13 billion agency is devoted to building affordable housing across the country. The CBC's Georgie Smythe reports.
Speed and scale, that's how the federal government says Canada will build itself out of the housing affordability crisis, using thousands of prefabricated homes.
Honey, I'm home.
Prime Minister Mark Carney making good on an election promise, announcing a new federal agency called Build Canada Homes. Its goal to jumpstart affordable housing developments next year.
Build Canada Homes will reduce the upfront costs of building by offering flexible financial incentives to attract private capital.
The agency will start with a $13 billion investment, and it'll use public lands. Construction will begin next year, aiming to build 4,000 homes in 6 cities, including Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, Toronto and Edmonton. Big promises delivered in synchronized launches across the country.
So this is sort of the last base of the frame.
And production line walkthroughs where some of these houses will be assembled. Constructing modular homes is more streamlined than traditional home building, but it will still involve adjustments for suppliers.
It's trying to adapt systems that have already been developed to meet the needs of what's coming.
Limiting how far these modular houses are transported will be key to staying cost-effective, says this builder.
And so the further away it is, the bigger the piece is, the more that cost will affect the value proposition of what you're trying to provide.
There's money to build homes for unhoused Canadians too.
The $1 billion that we heard announced towards supportive and transitional housing could be one of the most important parts of this announcement for communities that are struggling with homelessness.
Critics say this new approach is nothing but a new layer of government bureaucracy, a claim the Prime Minister rejected. He says his team's private sector experience is what will finally unlock change for Canadians. Georgie Smythe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Our coverage continues tonight on a class action settlement in the Yukon. It's between the Yukon government and former families of Jack Holland Elementary School in Whitewater. The government acknowledges that holds, restraints, and seclusion were used at the school and imposed ongoing harm on students there. It's now offering payments to affected students ranging from $10,000 to $1 million. The Yukon's child and youth advocate told the CBC's Virginie Ann about what's changed since the allegations came to light 3 years ago.
So one of the things that I was asked about as well is what's changed and how are things better. And I'm pretty confident now that with a lot of focus on the Department of Education and how they're responding to incidents of harm, we have seen a significant improvement in that area in terms of risk assessment and investigation and keeping children safe, or even teachers go on leave, or educators, whoever's accused of something would go on leave, and things were set for that response. But this wasn't really about several isolated incidents. This was more of a way of punishment and removal and seeing children as problems rather than understanding what was maybe going on for them. So it was called the Jack Holland Way.
But have you noticed a switch in that culture?
Absolutely. Yeah. In that school, but also in the whole department. A lot more transparency, more openness to respond and investigate when there are concerns, more communication with families. There's still things that need to be done to improve more, but we're absolutely on the right track.
The Yukon Supreme Court still needs to approve the settlement. A hearing is scheduled for October 29th. As communities in the Northwest Territories continue to grapple with wildfires, a union is calling on a Hay River-based company to give their firefighters a fair wage. The Public Service Alliance of Canada North says that firefighters working for Evergreen Forestry haven't seen a wage increase in 2 years. That means their salary is 5% behind Northwest Territories government firefighters doing the same job.
They're going to continue to do that work that they are passionate about. But, you know, it doesn't come without disappointment that they have to fight as hard as they have to fight once again in order to get wage parity for the same work that they're doing alongside GNWT firefighters. They would like to have the same pay.
The union says Evergreen Forestry employs 32 people. The company is run by 2 First Nations and contracted by the GNWT. In an emailed statement to the CBC, Evergreen Forestry says it's agreed to arbitration to resolve the dispute and will continue operations as usual. No arbitration date has been set. MPs are back in the House of Commons, kicking off the fall sitting, and it's also the first question period showdown between Prime Minister Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre. The Conservative leader regained his seat in last month's by-election win. Olivia Stefanovich tells us what happened.
A new sitting, a new face-off in the House of Commons.
Questions orales, oral questions, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre, back after regaining a seat in a summer by-election.
My mother taught me never to be late, so please forgive me for my late arrival to the session.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sure I speak for all parliamentarians in welcoming the member for Battle River Crowfoot back to the House of Commons.
Up against Prime Minister Mark Carney in question period for the first time.
So a trivia question. Can the Prime Minister tell us, has there ever been a Prime Minister who has successfully doubled the deficit without even introducing a budget?
Mr. Speaker, this government is undertaking the biggest investment in protecting Canadians in the Canadian military.
There's a lot more debt is what there is, Mr. Speaker. A lot more debt than we ever imagined would be possible.
Challenging the Prime Minister on the federal government's finances.
We need to be clear about the scale of the crisis we are in. We need to be clear about the scale of investment that we need.
And a substantial deficit projected in Carney's first budget.
The amount which seems to be anticipated, $100 billion, is so huge that I need to see what's in it.
I'm very concerned. How do we commit to 5% more military spending without a budget and without a plan? And why 5%? Because Trump says so?
We will need a plan of job creation, good jobs, unionized jobs, and also a real housing plan.
With the Liberals still 3 seats short of a majority, the government has no choice but to listen to those concerns and work with other parties to fulfill its ambitious agenda and pass its budget. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Take a voyage with me to the vast, remote, most extreme place on Earth.
For many, this will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Where the effects of climate change are intensifying.
The poles are a very rapidly changing place.
And geopolitical cracks threaten peace and stability.
Do you think there's a security concern?
I definitely do.
Experience the historic all-Canadian mission. CBC in Antarctica. Watch free on CBC Gem.
Want to get the most out of CBC News? Use the app or cbcnews.ca for live breaking news on the stories that matter to you. Whether it's local, national, or around the world, turn to CBC News.
It makes sense that they get a larger share, or does it?
Welcome to the Greenbelt.
All of this, just single detached homes.
Yes.
What do we know? I think we can explain.
About that with Andrew Chang.
Although the NBA currently is flooded with Canadian players, this was not a reality
a new immigration law.
This story, it's directly tied to all of those families who made a brave choice to come to this country.
My favorite word.
Tariff! How seriously are you taking this threat?
It's the uncertainty that's the biggest issue.
Canada, we got you.
Elbows up!
The Bay of Fundy in Atlantic Canada is renowned for having the highest tides in the world. But many Nunavummiut have long believed the title belongs to them. And now they say data can prove it. Samuel Watt explains.
New Brunswick, Canada's Bay of Fundy, one of the marine wonders of the world. It's here that something truly amazing happens. The world's highest tides.
With advertisements like that, it's no wonder why people marvel at the Bay of Fundy for its tides. But Makavik, the representative for Inuit in Nunavik, says it is proof that suggests otherwise.
We are here to just measure and substantiate what has been known for many decades by our elders.
Makavik has completed a year-long study to measure tides at the Leaf Basin near Tasiayak. Leaf Basin already holds the Guinness World Record for the highest tide ever recorded in 1953, but the Bay of Fundy has the highest tidal range, and that's what Makavik says its new findings dispute.
Gaining another recognized milestone in ensuring that we know what we have to offer, and to develop tourism is going to be an added benefit for sure.
Makavik has submitted its study to Fisheries and Oceans Canada for verification. The department says it's reviewing the findings before drawing any conclusions. It says previous data suggests both the Bay of Fundy and the Leaf Basin are actually statistically tied for tidal range, but it stresses there's no long-term data from either site, so measurements are left somewhat up to chance. Tasiayak's Mayor Tommy Ananak is optimistic though.
I'm happy to hear we've been waiting for this news so many years now.
Nova Scotia's Tourism Department says it still stands by the Bay of Fundy record, and it's one it's proud of for now. Samuel Watt, CBC News, Yellowknife.
Inuit in Iqaluit are getting free swimming lessons this fall. The lessons are provided through a partnership between the city and the Kikitani Inuit Association. It's meant to help improve health and wellness in the community. The Kikitani Inuit Association, or QIA, says it wants to provide Inuit with the opportunity to build water safety, awareness, confidence, and more.
Gaining physical strength, overall physical health, and wellness in our community. We really encourage that.
Inuit up to the age of 30 can take part in the lessons. Those interested can register at the Aquatic Center or online starting this Thursday. Registration will close on October 2nd, and a lottery system will decide who takes part. The Canadian Real Estate Association says last month's home sales have been the highest in 4 years, and economists say the uptick could signal a demand surge in the fall. Nisha Patel breaks down the numbers from August.
Home sales in Canada have been trending higher for 5 months in a row, but they're up just slightly compared to the same time a year ago. The average benchmark price in August hitting about $687,000, down 3.5% from 2024.
I think the real action is going to be in the fall, but certainly it shows that things are spooling up.
While higher mortgage rates and trade war uncertainty have kept many Canadians on the sidelines, there's now more inventory for sale, luring some prospective buyers into the market with the opportunity to be more choosy.
If it's 500 square feet, you're going to have a hard time selling it. If it's a 4,000 square foot McMansion, you might have a hard time selling it. But anything that's sort of 1,000 square feet to 1,500, that's a reasonable, affordable family type home, I think those will do well.
Much of the market action depends on the type of housing and where it's located. Areas that were historically very cheap continue to see higher demand and higher prices, like Quebec City, Montreal, and Halifax. But the condo market in southern Ontario is experiencing a deep downturn, with prices in cities like Barrie and London down double digits compared to last year. And after months of heated sales, Calgary's market appears to be cooling. Sales are down 11% from a year ago. Prices dipping slightly too.
Sellers have to be realistic in their pricing, and buyers have to realize that good locations are still selling. So, there's a balanced market.
As the summer season ends, experts say more Canadians will go house hunting, and sales could pick up in the fall, especially if the Bank of Canada lowers its benchmark interest rate later this week. Nisha Patel, CBC News, Toronto.
Some British Columbia farmers and business leaders are calling on the government to change the rules on how food grown in BC is processed. They argue the regulations limit food production in the province. Katie DeRosa reports.
Rows and rows of leafy greens are grown under temperature-controlled LED lights inside this 50,000 square foot warehouse in Pitt Meadows. It's a year-round alternative to imports from California.
So after the tariffs that occurred, we had a huge demand and surge in our products.
Owner Bahram Rashdi says 80% of the greens that British Columbians eat are imported from the U.S., and he wants to change that. He hopes to start adding carrots, beets, and cabbage for his salad kits that are grown by other BC farmers. But that could put him at odds with the provincial rule. It states that food processing can only happen on agricultural land if at least 50% of the product is grown on that land itself.
In order for us to expand not just our production, but also our processing side of our business, we do need help from government.
The rule is meant to stop prime farmland from being paved over with concrete industrial facilities. But there are growing calls to scrap it, especially with the push to buy BC amid the trade war with the U.S.
Some products are being shipped out to Alberta or down to Washington State to get processed instead of in British Columbia.
The Abbotsford Chamber of Commerce says processing could be done on parcels of ALR-protected land that are not suitable for growing crops.
There's an opportunity to actually convert a small portion of those parcels of land into an ag industrial land use.
But one professor, an Abbotsford farmer, says the rules are meant to protect ALR land in the long run.
If we open up agricultural land for any type of food processing, like we see in Chilliwack, what happened to Red Bull factory went in. So that's not supporting BC agriculture.
Premier David Eby says the province is looking at changes.
But we can't do it at the expense of farmers that are dependent on affordable farmland to be able to provide that food.
Back at Up Vertical Farms, Rashdi says those changes need to happen immediately to prevent budding businesses like his from leaving the province altogether. Katie DeRosa, CBC News, Victoria.
With summer winding down, COVID cases are once again creeping up. The CBC's Alison Northcott looks at the latest variant and tells us what places could become COVID hotspots.
This lab screens for wastewater for the virus that causes COVID-19.
Wastewater would tell us approximately 10 days to as much as a month ahead of time, ahead of clinical illness, what variants were entering the country and circulating.
Federal wastewater data show high levels of COVID-19 in parts of BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Quebec, and PEI. The current variant circulating most is called XFG or Stratus.
That variant causes mild to moderate illness. And we also know that the current vaccines that are in production and will be available in the fall should provide coverage.
With more people back at work and school, there are more places for viruses to circulate, while some are unbothered.
I've thrown out most of my masks because I'm not really afraid of the next pandemic or anything. I've got like the COVID fatigue, right? Because you hear about it over and over and over again.
Others are cautious.
We just don't know what's around.
And thinking about booking a fall vaccine.
I thought I was up to date, but maybe I'm not. I will have to call my doctor and find out.
If you can't remember when you last had one, it's probably time to consider getting another vaccine update.
Canada's Vaccine Advisory Committee says people over 65, those who are pregnant or people with underlying medical conditions should get an annual COVID shot. People over 80 or in long-term care should get it twice a year.
Those over 65, the risk of hospitalization is way higher.
For everyone else, this infectious disease specialist says ask your healthcare provider.
For those who are most vulnerable to hospitalization and death from COVID, the vaccine has a does a very good job in reducing the risk of that.
And with flu and RSV seasons on the horizon, experts say that protection will be particularly important.
Each province and territory will have its own vaccine rollout, most starting next month. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
One resident of Rankin Inlet, Nunavut, is being recognized for her work bringing Inuktitut to the classroom. Ashley Tulagak was awarded the 2025 Council of the Federation Literacy Award for Nunavut. The award recognizes her work developing a kindergarten through grade 1 curriculum, teaching all subjects from math to social studies in Inuktitut. Tulagak spoke with the CBC's Noel Kalujak, and she told him how she feels about this recognition.
I'm really thankful and I'm very honored to receive this award. Looking at the history of the recipients of this award, I can see there are lots of Nunavut that have done really good work to contribute to literacy in Nunavut, and I'm really honored to be a part of that. I'm thankful that others see me in that light, that the work that I've done in collaboration with many supporters is being recognized. So I'm just really thankful for that. Growing up, I lived in 7 different Nunavut and NWT communities the first 11 years of my life. And I remember all the communities that I lived in, we were welcomed really warmly, and I grew up listening to many beautiful dialects and unique customs from each community. And being a kid, playing outside, making new friends, I could quickly hear and understand pick up what others were saying, and that sounds were different or words were different, and that they were all correct. They just had different ways of saying them. And so I really enjoy listening to different dialects. I think it's important to keep the identity of Inuit tribes and their dialects. And I'm very sensitive towards those who are learning Inuktitut as a second language, or feel shy to speak in Inuktitut. So I like to just offer a gentle, soft approach when working with young students who are learning Inuktitut.
The Council of the Federation Award was created in 2004. The award celebrates exceptional achievement, innovative practice, and excellence in literacy. Oiksarinitara, Wrong Husband, had its North American premiere last week at the Toronto International Film Festival, and it's already receiving critical acclaim. On Sunday, it won the Best Canadian Feature Film Award at the festival. The film was directed by acclaimed Inuk filmmaker Zacharias Kunuk. It's a historical drama looking at what it means to break a promise, and it's also a celebration of Inuit culture. Kunuk says the win came as a surprise.
I was very proud of it when I heard that it won Best Feature Film. It caught me by surprise, and I notified family members, and no doubt more people will want to see it.
The film premiered in Iqaluit on Friday. Kunuk says he'll be at the Vancouver Film Festival next month for another screening. The annual Whitewater rodeo was held on Saturday in Whitehorse. The event brings together veteran and rookie paddlers, and it also marks an unofficial end to the Yukon Canoe and Kayak Club's season. Take a look.
A celebration of paddling and a showcase of the paddling skills in Whitehorse, or in the Yukon in general. We're a handful of fun competitions to kind of celebrate the end of the paddling season, bring us all together.
Looks like a tight community, but how would you describe the paddling community here?
I would say tight's a very good way to describe it, and also growing. Ever since COVID, the pandemic, it's been growing exponentially. The club's been growing each year. We're offering more day trips, more weekend events, more clinics. Just getting more Yukoners on the water. It can be very intimidating, but with the proper gear, make sure you have your life jacket, your helmet, your insulating layers. It's quite a safe piece of river, and we've got a lot of skilled paddlers that, even though they're not competing, they're stepping up and providing safety for everybody.
And that is Northbeat for tonight. For news anytime, go to cbc.ca/north. We leave you with photos from a special caribou hunt. Kwanlin Dun First Nation citizens in the Whitehorse area participated in a cultural hunt. For the first time since 1993, citizens went on a hunt sanctioned by the nation. In the 90s, nations in the southern Yukon agreed to voluntarily stop hunting caribou in the Southern Lakes herds because of declining numbers. In the past 30 years, the herds have rebounded. And though the voluntary hunting ban remains in place, this cultural hunt allowed citizens to pass on knowledge and skills and connect with caribou once again. Thank you for watching. I'm Megan Roberts. Have a good night.